Vance, welcome to the Z Marketing Podcast. Thank you for being with us.
I appreciate you having me, Zev. Thanks so much. We'll have a good time today.
Absolutely. And I know that you're going to bring a lot of value to the listeners with your experience in business and with customer retention. For the people who don't know who you are yet, maybe just give us a little bit of your background and like your kind of 30-second commercial or your elevator pitch.
Sure thing. I guess for what I'm known for is I spent 10 years as a senior leader at the Walt Disney Company down in Orlando. So had a lot of fun down there. It's kind of where I learned everything. It was my first job out of college. So great place to really get the footing for what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I
Happiest
did
place on
leave.
earth.
Yeah, most of the time, unless your ice cream falls on the floor. But people do leave Disney. I was there 10 years, and to me, to be somewhere for 10 years was very foreign. I've worked for a whole bunch of different companies, and primarily in hospitality, food service, and started my own businesses in 2007. So I have three home service businesses here in Maryland. I have a mold remediation company, a Oriental rug washing facility, and a carpet cleaning business. And I took all of my Disney knowledge and crammed it into those businesses. And actually, one of the first things I learned at Disney wasn't even about customer service or anything. It was about systems and process. And everything at Disney runs on systems and processes. And so as I built those companies, I made sure that I documented all the systems and processes. And the reason I bring that up is that I now have a general manager that runs those businesses. I don't spend maybe 90 minutes a week on that part of the biz because I've got that stuff in place and he takes care of it. And then every Friday, I just have a conversation with him and that's it. So I'm literally cashing checks and kissing babies.
And sending amazing newsletters. I see every week. You're very prolific and consistent with it. So yeah, there's a couple things to unpack here that I think that will frame, the different things we can go into. You started at Disney. My marketing agency, we focus a lot on hospitality, restaurant groups, hotels, travel, and I've, been to Disney. I know that they are the thing that struck me when I went and inspired me was that they leave like no stone unturned. You can tell there's an enormous amount of careful thought and planning and marketing, branding in every little thing from how they trim the hedges to the signage to like, everything, like even the bathrooms, like everything is their brand is infused into it. Um, how would you say you've applied that kind of meticulous attention to detail and customer experience into your current businesses?
Yeah, great questions, Ev. I think we're all in detail-oriented businesses, no matter what niche or industry we're in. I've got the cleaning businesses, so obviously that's very detail-oriented. I think one of the parallels is, at Disney, they literally wash the streets every night before the next guests come in. So my guys wash their vans every day before they go out on the road. My guys put on clean uniforms every single day. And I know Disney does the same thing. And my guys actually carry extra uniforms on the van in case they get dirty on the job beforehand. So we're
Do they whistle
always
while they work?
What's that?
Do they whistle while they work?
Yeah, they look great, So so I mean there's a lot of parallels there. I think that, and it's just what you as a business owner, what are the details that are important to you that you want to focus on? And if there is that one detail that if you focused on that, just that one detail, how much of an impact would it have on your business? And to me, appearance is a huge detail in my cleaning businesses. Like we don't allow them you can't smoke on the job at all. So you clock in, you're done smoking. Actually, I don't think anybody guys smoke anyway, but when they did, clock in, you're done smoking until 4 or 5 o'clock whenever your shift's over. Because the last thing you want to do is walk into a house smelling like smoke. That's just disgusting. And you're not allowed to wear cologne. So I don't want you going to 7-Eleven, buying a bottle of Axe and taking a shower in the stuff and then going into somebody's house. It's gross. So,
Good policy.
well, I thought so. You might think you smell good, but nobody else does. So, but it's those details. I mean, what is important to you as a business owner? What detail is going to give you the most bang for your buck? What is going to give you the most mileage? If you just take one detail and focus on it, get that done, and then find the next detail. And then find the next detail. And that's all Disney does is they find a detail, they work on it. And Walt Disney called it plussing. That was his term for process improvement. How do we make this better? So how do we make this better?
Is that where Disney Plus comes from?
Well, I don't know. But that was Walt's term, was plussing.
Wow.
How do we make this better?
I did not know. So yeah, that's true. I remember actually I went to Disney when I was younger, and I remember my parents got this book of Walt Disney quotes, and like I used to like read it every morning. It's very inspiring. I like that insatiable drive to always be improving and making things better. What about with customer service? So I know that like I totally agree with you. You have to appearances make an impression, professionalism, people who are, they're serious, they're on the job, they're not just taking smoke breaks and bathroom breaks and whatever. And I know in Disney, they're very big on, smiling, and they're all very well trained. What processes do you have in place for encouraging having a really good customer service interaction, so that, because obviously people want the job done, of course they want it done well, but that's not all there is to it. You have to be agreeable to work with, you have to make a good impression. So what are some things that your team does to really please the customer?
Sure. So one of the big things is, Disney is known as performance. You're performing a role in the show. And so I've brought that to all of my companies and what we do. And Disney has just figured out how to make an experience out of every boring, mundane thing that a business has to do. Answer the telephone, greet a guest, et cetera, et cetera. So I looked at all the boring, mundane things we had to do in the carpet cleaning business, and I'm like, all right, how do we make an experience out of this? So one example is how we get into somebody's house. So we've completely scripted this out. I mean, it's boring, it's mundane. I mean, most people just go up, knock on the door, and go in. Not us. So ours starts actually out in the street. So our guys park in the street. They don't park in the driveway because God forbid we got an oil leak. Now I got something else I got to clean up. They get out in the clean uniform. We already talked about that because they carry an extra one with them. And they've got a special mat with them and a little gift. And they go up to the front door and they lay down the special mat, which is, our logoed mat. They're going to wipe their feet on it. They knock on the door. They don't ring the bell because friends knock. Salespeople ring the bell. Take a couple steps back from the front door, and they wait for Mrs. McGillicuddy to answer the door. And then they say, "Hi, my name's Josh. I'm here to create your healthy home. May I come in?" And we wait for Mrs. McGillicuddy to invite us in. When she does that, we do an exaggeration of wiping our feet on the carpet. And then we put little booties on our clean shoes. And as we're going into the home, we present her with a gift. Now, this is a real gift. This isn't like some tchotchke, chip clip or, pen or something. This is a nice blue box. Inside the box is a bag of cookies, a bottle of our spot remover, and a little note from me saying, "Hey, thanks so much for allowing us into your home." Now, that's all scripted out. We could have just gone, rang the doorbell, said, "Hey, we're here to clean your carpets. Let me in." But no, we've scripted this entire thing out. And the reason we did that, one, is obviously it separates us from everybody else. But two, in my mind, there's money involved. Because now we're doing this, and okay, well, now that we're creating this experience, we've added value, price becomes elastic. And don't forget this gift that I gave. So here's the magic in it, is we don't even know if we have the job, right? I mean, she might just look at the price and say, "Man, no, I don't want you guys." And she still gets the gift. The gift cost me less than $5, right, to give. So, I mean, it's hardly any cost. But what that gift does is it starts the process of reciprocity. I give something to you, you feel compelled to give something back to me. So I give the gift, and when we implemented the gift, we saw a 26% increase in our mid-tier package, which was about a
Wow.
$65,000 a year increase in sales for us, just for that $5 box.
That's a really good return on a small
It's a
investment.
huge return. And I mean, and that's what Disney's known for. I mean, they are masters at extracting money from your wallet and leaving you feel happy, right?
Yes.
You know, so I carry that through. I said, okay, how can I make people happy? And how can I get more money from them? I mean,
So
I'm not
that,
ripping them off, but
oh,
it's the value that we deliver, and we charge accordingly.
yes, that just shows how a little extra thought can go a long way. And you call to mind two things. You know, one of my favorite business books that I read early on in my career was Purple Cow by Seth Godin, and he talked a lot about having something unique about your business, being like very differentiated from your competitors. Your Purple Cow. Another book I read around the same time, it's like along, you know, maybe like uh, 12, 13 years ago, was by the founder of Rainforest Cafe. And he
Mhm.
also talks very much like Disney about all the extra surprise and delight he does. I also have worked with air duct cleaning companies. I've done a little bit of Facebook ads for them that were very successful. I've also had on this podcast Jay Bear, who's like a real digital marketing guru, and he wrote a great book called Talk Triggers, which where he like, and he had a lot of case studies like DoubleTree Hotel. They give you the little chocolates and when you come in, or the cookies, something like that. The cookies. CVS having these crazy receipts, these long receipts. It's not always something that's like a gift or a giveaway. It's just something that makes people talk about your business and remind. And I guess, you know, your goodie bag, that is an amazing case study. My question to you, as someone who's founded a lot of these businesses, and you work in, I guess, what most would think are boring service businesses that you've made interesting. Why aren't more business owners doing stuff like this? Like in the air duct cleaning world or these carpet cleaning world, I know a lot of people emphasize hygiene. They emphasize things like maybe we're going to save you on your energy bill costs, or we're going to prevent your house from burning down, or we're going to stop the spread of COVID or allergies. All wonderful things, but they're all kind of saying the same stuff. Oh, we use 2 masks, we use booties on the feet. Okay, great. But yours is like, it's like a Disney wow factor. How come more people aren't doing this? Are they afraid that it's going to be too much overhead and it's not going to pay off? Like what gave you the courage to be so differentiated from your competitors?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. My competitors know exactly what I'm doing. So like every once in a while, I don't do it often enough, but I'll drive around and do quality checks on the job. So if they're, you know, close to my house or close to the office, I'll drive around. And one time I was driving through the neighborhood and I saw a competitor's van, you know, a couple houses down, and I got to the house we were at, and the guy was in the bushes watching my guy on the front porch. Knows exactly what we're doing it, and they can't or won't copy it. Now, my thought is one, he's lazy, won't do it. Two, he's dumb. I don't know, maybe. Three, they can't afford to do it because their pricing structure is wrong. Now, I just looked at yesterday. We're redoing some of our pricing packages, and so I did a little bit of research yesterday on one of my competitors, and I printed out the. They actually compete on price, so all their prices are online, which I never
Mhm.
do. You don't see any of my prices anywhere, and their prices are from like 1973. Like, how the hell do you live on this stuff? And they can't do the nice stuff because they're not getting enough money. So here's the thing. So if you want to do this, is you start something and you improve the experience, or you improve the value. It's really value is what you're looking to do. And when you increase the value, you increase the price. and you take half of that price increase and you put it in your bank. You take the other half of that price increase and you reinvest it into the business and you make it better again. And then you do the same thing. Take half of that, put it in the bank, take half of that, reinvest it in the business. And you just continually do that until you have all these iterations of the business getting better. And the value continues to increase and price is irrelevant. People, I mean, by the time we're done, like, so we go in with this big client folder and it's got all of our warranties in it, our guarantees, which no other cleaning company does or has. They could, but they don't. And when it gets time for us to present the price, they're like, okay. There's no question because we have built the value up. And I think that,
Yeah.
you know, Disney does this so well. I mean, yes, they've gotten expensive. I mean, Wall Street Journal just shish kebabbed them a couple of weeks ago that they think maybe Disney has gotten to that point of the highest price they can go. I would argue they didn't, but yeah,
Right. Yeah, no, and it sounds like, all these law of compounding returns from these different things you can do to improve the business. And, based on like what I was talking about before with Purple Cow, a lot of people, they don't do anything special for their business. They don't do anything that gets people talking. I think a big part of it is there's fear, there's a lot of competition. They have a scarcity mindset. There's also maybe they're thinking too rationally, where I think they think, oh, well, no one's going to appreciate this extra value, goodie bag, whatever. Your numbers suggest differently, prove differently. A lot of times, we are business owners, I'm saying broadly speaking, we're so caught up in our story and our features and our product, and we forget that at the end of the day, all your competitors probably have similar service. If you're competing at the highest end, then you're all really good. But what makes someone pick you and not fight with you about price is your reputation, the added value, and the kind of soft factors that wow, surprise, delight, that talk to the emotion and not just the rational, what's the price, what's the service, and I guess what I was going to say is that it seems like they don't charge enough. They don't want to invest in the business. They just gotta. They're worried about just taking enough home.
right.
Stay in business. And I think that's really admirable that you've created a process where you can afford to charge more. Like you said, your prices are elastic. So like as a marketer, I talk to my clients about this. They're all, and especially in the service businesses that you're talking about, it's almost no marketing. It's just straight sales. They just want to generate leads, as many as possible off of like Angie's List or on Google Ads or whatever. And if they would just invest a little bit in the brand, building that brand, that reputation, they would find they'd have better and more loyal customers, increase that lifetime value, and they would not have people bargaining with them on price so much. They would be able to get beyond, like you said, your prices could be elastic. So my next question would be like, how could you've explained, I think, how businesses could do that if they raise their price and invest more in optimizing the business. But switching gears a little bit, you have a few businesses that almost run on autopilot. I think a lot of people listening are like, hey, I'd love to do that. How can I get a business that kind of runs itself? And did you start either any of these businesses, or did you acquire them, or how did that come about?
Started all of them from scratch. So 2007, great year to start a business, my friend.
Okay.
Actually, it was. And you know why? It's because everybody that had businesses prior to that were all fat and happy and lazy. All they had to do was do a Yellow Pages ad and the businesses came flooding in. I started in 07, which was still okay, but I was starting. So I was, scrounging, boots on the ground, bootstrapping and everything. And then the crash came, and I was like, all right, I'm still bootstrapping and scrounging. And that's the way I've always been, and I've never taken my foot off the accelerator. I mean, I've just kept it down the whole time. And I'm like, and I zinged past all those people that were fat and happy because I didn't know any better. That's what I did. I was like, all right, so go on past them. But going back to your, the Google pay-per-click and getting new customers all the time, and your brand and the loyalty, getting a new customer is freaking expensive.
Yeah, customer acquisition is the most expensive thing.
I mean, it's insane. So like, I just got my pay-per-click numbers, and so my cost per lead was $133. It's a lot for a carpet cleaner. My minimum
Yeah.
charge is $199. Simple
Mm.
math tells me I got $66 left to pay the technician, the rent, all the overhead, cost of goods, yada, yada, yada.
Those
I'm
people
going
better come
negative.
back.
I'm going negative on the first job.
Right, like a
So I
loss
don't have
leader.
a good retention system in place. I've lost money, but I do
Mhm.
have a good retention system. And you know what it costs me to keep a customer? $21 a year in marketing to keep a customer.
Wow.
So I am automatically 100 and some odd dollars more profitable by serving a prior customer than I am by a new one. Now I get it. You need new customers to build the business. Got that? Perfect. You need it. But if you want to grow profitably, you've got to pay attention to your existing customers. You've got to have a customer retention system and budget in place so that you can market to them. It's so much cheaper. And you can afford to go negative on that first job or first sale or whatever in order to acquire the client, because on the second one, you're going to make it all up.
Yeah, that was a challenge when I once worked with an air duct cleaning company, and they were like only thinking about acquisition. And I would say, well, why don't you'll make back a lot more, even after expenses, beyond marketing costs, if you get them to come back more and refer friends. And no, well, they come every 3 years. They don't even remember who they used at that point, and well, that's bad. I now no longer, I'm not saying all air duct cleaning companies are like that. That was just one. They were in Maryland actually. But I personally make a point now to only work with businesses with advertising does not make sense really, literally dollars and cents, if unless you have some kind of customer retention and loyalty program. So I'd love to know also, yeah, like, so now as far as the managing of these businesses, how did you started these, you didn't just acquire an existing business. How did you set it up, kind of Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week style, that you can kind of live your life and grow your brand and not have to spend too much time in the business?
That's such BS. 4-hour work week, my butt. Um, and I knew it getting into it. Now I started my business when I was 40,
Mhm.
so I mean, I had corporate jobs. I had never been on my own. And thing is, I make a lousy employee. I don't like to be told what to do. So my last job I had gotten fired from, I don't mind saying it.
Mhm.
So I figured I better do something on my own. So I started the carpet business. And I mean, first 5 years were freaking miserable. I mean, I was doing all the work. Well, I mean, I had employees, but I was still on a truck cleaning every day. I had to, take care of all that. Then I had employees that were out on the road, and I had one guy who was drunk driving, and another guy who stole a van to go buy drugs somewhere, and he got wrecked in a car wreck. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is what business ownership is. I'm going to kill somebody.
Mhm.
But then, you finally get the right person in that position, and then you get the next right person in that position, and then you pay them well. That's very important. Pay them well for what they're worth. You take care of them. And so, like, my longest tenured guy now is 13 years. He's the one I
Wow.
promoted to general manager. My least tenured guy is 3 years. And in the carpet
Wow.
cleaning world, that's like 19 lifetimes.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
so now we have consistency in in, in the ranks. Um, and it was only 7 years ago that I was really able to step back. So, I
You're
mean,
not just outsourcing, you're not outsourcing techs, you have a team.
no, these are employees.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It's a lot of people just outsource, so I made that point, yeah.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Here's a garden hose and a shop vac. Now you're a carpet cleaner. But
Yeah.
and all through it though, it was, I'd take the extra 20 minutes at the end of the night or the end of the day, document what did I do, how did I do it, what went wrong, create, I wasn't kidding. A guy did steal one of my vans, drove to Baltimore to buy drugs, and he T-boned somebody in downtown Baltimore. I can't make this up. So I
Wow.
had to write a policy and okay, what to do if this, and how do you manage the keys, and so you just keep on going. And
Well, it seems like you're a real systems builder, and because you do most people are only thinking about what's on their desk right now. Because you do the working on the business part of creating the system and the brand and policies, you create these kind of that I think seems to be key to how your business is able to be more of a turnkey. That's a lot of work. Like you'll only see the after effects. Oh, it looks like this guy doesn't have so much to do, just on Friday. But there's a lot of work to get to that point, and you have to do things that most people aren't willing to do, like think 2 steps, 10 steps ahead, and make those plans. And I just interesting question came to mind when you're talking about the retention of your employees and how you've had someone for 13 years in a business where it's usually a lot of turnover. Do you think there's a connection between retention of employees and retention of customers?
oh God, yeah, 100%. Because I think it all comes down to, I personally, I think it all comes down to the golden rule. I mean, just treat others like you would expect to be treated. I mean, it's that simple. But you've got to have a system. I'm going back to systems again. So I know that, for my employees, once a month, I do breakfast with them. We meet at Panera, and, there's no agenda. I mean, if they want to talk about work, they can, but I just buy everybody breakfast. We sit down, we shoot the talk, and away everybody goes. I send flowers. So like if a guy has worked late, like a couple of times during the week, I have the general manager send flowers to the wife and say, I'm sorry that we worked your husband, a lot this week. It wasn't his fault. We worked him a lot. So now, if that guy ever complains about work, the wife is going to be like, you can't quit. They send me flowers.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, so it's that kind of stuff that you just kind of think that, they're people, and okay, and what's going on in their family, and how can you just take care of everybody, and again, this is what charging higher prices allows me to do. If I wasn't running a premium service, I wouldn't be able to do that, and I wouldn't have
Yeah.
the turnover. I would have turnover if I was a cheap carpet cleaner. I would have turnover with my customers if I was cheap, because I wouldn't be able to afford to hold on to them. So yeah, it's one big circle, and employees and customers are linked completely.
Oh yeah, two sides of the same coin. I think at the end of the day, the number one word is people. Customers, people, treating your employees like people. I mean, people is that's really the name of the game. You could see this, and culture starts at the top. Good culture. I don't know if you've read Start with Why, Simon Sinek, or if you've studied Costco. They really put people first, and like that whole philosophy of like leaders eat last, and that's not
Yep.
just about the numbers. I think ironically, if you put the people first over the profit also is higher in the long term. But a lot of people, and you can see it, you can go to a place and it's super short staffed. It's like one guy who's he's the cashier, and he's also making the drinks and the food, and he's also, and it's just like a mess, and everything's dirty, and people are waiting a long time. And when people are willing to invest more, like myself, I only work with people who have a lot of experience and who are really good. And I'm willing to pay more and charge more. Maybe I need to do a better job of just showing prospects why our higher pricing, we're really actually just a little north of average. I wouldn't say we're very high priced, but why we're better than like going on, Upwork and working with some freelancer for a couple $100 a month. I think it's important to demonstrate your value and why you're worth the money, not just for the amazing results and great work that you do, but the fact that your customers feel taken care of. And that's often a testament to how well you take care of your people, your employees. So
No doubt.
amazing. These are golden insights you're sharing with anyone. For my listeners or viewers, where can I know that you do some consulting, and
Yep.
I'm sure that if anyone listening, watching this right now, you feel like you've gotten some gems from Vance and you want to learn more, where can people find you and what can you offer them?
Yeah, sure. Best place is the website, which is deliverservicenow.com. A whole bunch of little free downloads on there. Actually, I just came up with a new, I call them hot sheets. Some people call them white papers or downloads, but I call them hot sheets. And this one is 52 ways to wow your customer without breaking the bank. So it's one wow a week for you. Actually, if you can go to wow52ways.com and you just download it and you got, I mean, it's just programmed for you. Just do one a week. And it really will, it'll change the way you look at your business. Your customers will certainly notice it. And it's all stuff that is either low or no cost. So, I mean, there's nothing in there that, you got to go buy a roller coaster or have a Cinderella castle. I mean, it's like just simple stuff. And that
Nothing
has,
over the top and crazy.
yeah, no, I mean, it's not like you got to, go plant a rose garden or something. I mean, it's just simple, everyday things that you can do that have a strong impact on your customers.
Amazing. I'm going to check that out right now. And I'm going to put all the links in the show notes. And it just, I think it goes to show everything you've said about just putting in a few wows, a wow a week or something like that will help you to retain customers and it'll pay dividends over the long term. Vance, thank you so much for being here and sharing with the listeners. And shout out to Mickey over there in the background. And hope to have you back on here sometime soon.
I appreciate it, Zev. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you.